TRANE, XL19i, condenser motor or capacitor.
Hello and thanks for using this service. If you have been waiting, do not worry or get upset. I'm just one of the techs on here and I try to get to as many customers as I can, and I just picked up your question now. Please give me time to respond, as typing, researching and adding links takes me time to do, so please be patient, and often I will ask you questions to narrow down the issue, so do not rate me until we are done. Thanks. So let's get started. Most likely if the fan spins freely and is doing that, just the capacitor is bad. Unless you have a capacitor tester, there is no way to know 100% of course, but the capacitor is cheap and easy to change out, so I would do that anyways, as it cannot hurt your pocketbook much to do. Otherwise, get a capacitor tester and check it out for sure. If you are not happy with the service, please let me know before leaving a negative rating. This is the only way I am paid or credited through the site for my time. This will also allow you to get directly back to me for free follow-up questions, and tips are greatly appreciated. Thanks.
The fan is spinning but very slowly and is making a rubbing type noise. I do not mind replacing the capacitor, I just do not know how to tell which one. There is a panel that comes off to access the wiring and controls. Should I send you a picture, or is there a number I can look for to identify? Also, where do you rec me to purchase parts? Thanks.
Okay, if it is making a rubbing noise, you may want to replace the fan anyways, as the bearing may be bad or starting to go bad on it. You should just go to Fukusa Parts. Com to purchase the parts. The numbers are stamped on the parts for both.
Well, the fan motor is over $200, so I really do not want to replace it without checking it first. Is there a test for this motor? Seems to spin freely, but that does not mean the brushes or bearings are good. Should I still replace the capacitor first? Not a lot of money to spare these days, why I am using you. Will an electrical shop test the fan, or can I test? Also, to access the fan there are 4 screws that secure the top of the unit, remove them and unplug motor. I am an auto mechanic, so not really sure of HVAC stuff. Still learning and hope you are patient.
If you do not have the tools to do it, then yes, take it to a motor shop to check the windings or the capacitor out. Basically the capacitors are cheap, around $5 to $10, so just put a new capacitor on it, either it will run or it will not. If not, then you need the motor. I mean, for $5 to $10 it is not worth the gas or time to screw around trying to test this, or that in my opinion for a $5 part you should replace anyways. If you are not happy with the service, please let me know before leaving a negative rating. This is the only way I am paid or credited through the site for my time. This will also allow you to get directly back to me for free follow-up questions, and tips are greatly appreciated. Thanks.
I will replace the capacitor, then still where do I find it, how do I know which one it is, and do I need to discharge it before removing? I know it is probably behind the electrical panel on the unit, right? Is there only one? Should I send a picture? The site you sent me to, is that the capacitor I need? Sorry, not an AC man here, but still hot in Texas.
There is only one in behind the electrical cover. Shut the power off to the unit and use a screwdriver and short across 2 of the posts. Do all 3 and 2 at a time. There is a marking that will say 35 oof/5 oof or 45 oof/7.5 oof on it, with a voltage rating of 370 VAC or 440 VAC. Those 3 numbers are all you need to get the right one. It is actually probably the one I sent you in the link for your unit though, but double check on the capacitor. Assists sent.
3 units that look like capacitors on this unit, 1 square shaped and probably knotted, 1 short silver with 2 to 4 pin connectors, 1 long black 2 to 4 pin connectors, not 3 like the one you attached, also has a small diode connecting to both terminals. Numbers 61A8T33136 NRTR135 162 MFT330 VAC 60 HCOPT MAX 65 CZ1A101147P03.
Hello, my name is Billy. I had sent an assist on this VIG. You have a variable speed condensing fan motor. It is not like other units with capacitors for the fan. You have caps for the compressors. Your fan runs at different speeds depending on pressure and temperature. If you take a blanket and wrap around the outside unit, the fan should speed up. When this occurred, was it very hot outside or just warm enough to run air?
It was very hot that day, probably in the mid-90s and high humidity. The unit usually runs very fast and I heard a strange noise coming from there, went to investigate and found the fan barely spinning. Tried to speed it up by hand and it did speed up but very little. Sorry for being a novice at this, but use you guys for many projects and just do not have the money to spend on expensive service calls. I have been told capacitor and condenser motor, have been told the condenser motor rarely lasts over 10 years and this unit is about 12 years old. Thanks for your patience. I don't know what happened to that other guy, but he was recommending a capacitor first and obviously he did not know what he was doing since you say no capacitor for the condenser fan. So where do I go from here? Hey, please do not text me, I just do not text, sorry, old school hard-headed veteran. Billy, the fan is barely turning and making a clicking noise and it almost sounds like a rubbing noise, cannot tell because the top is on. Can take the top off with 4 screws, right? Let me know where to go from here.
Turn power off. Remove top cover. There is sometimes a rain sling or plastic cap on the motor under the fan blade. With power off. Does fan spin freely? With power on. Does fan start and stay at one speed?
Power off. The fan feels like there is friction there, spins but not like on roller bearings. Feel power on. Fan barely turns and makes a rubbing sound but is not rubbing anywhere. The shaft is not wobbly or out of round, just feels like friction there.
Thank you. You indeed have a bad motor. I apologize, as I wish it were something small and simple. But your motor is the source of problem.
Billy, what are the procedures for replacing the motor? Is it a straightforward replacement? I know the wires run into the electrical panel and there is a pigtail where it plugs in. Also, how do I go about ordering the correct motor? It seems they are around 200.00.
The motor is pretty straightforward. A belly band clamp with 4 leg points. The wiring is predetermined by plugs. Get the model number from the condenser. And then call here.
The model number will be on the old motor. Not sure what you mean by condenser. Where will that model number be exactly? Again, thanks for your help on this.
The 19i is just the series. There will be a label on the outdoor unit with a model number. Like 2TTZ. Get that entire number and it will tell the supply house exactly what you have. This has to be a specific motor. This unit is one of the Cadillacs that was very expensive with high-tech design. A regular motor changout will not work. I really wish you the best. If you need anything, let me know. Billy.
Billy, just one more thing. I appreciate your knowledge in knowing that this motor has no capacitor. Is there anything related to this motor that might need replacing, or is it a completely standalone unit? If variable speed, it seems there would be sensors or relays that analyze information, or does the computer do that? Also, is there a way to get a manual for this unit to do diagnostics? I hate replacing things nowadays and repair my home, cars, gensets, furniture, and bikes, throwaway society today, and I hate it. Born too late, I guess. Thanks for your patience with me, help, and knowledge. Fort Worth, Texas. PS. Think back to the days when cars were repaired, carbs rebuilt, generators rebuilt, brake calipers/cylinders rebuilt, engines rebuilt, trannies rebuilt, a golden age of craftsmanship and pride. Now we just junk things and replace.
Sad, but very true. Everything is becoming more disposable. Cost of manufacturing is always being cheapened, but cost of repair and service goes up. Seems like the manufacturing do not want many knowing how to repair and make proprietary systems that no one knows how to service but them. As far as your motor, there are items that send signals to the motor, but when you said the blades felt a bit resistant, it pointed to the motor and not a signal. When de-energized, the blades should spin very easy with no restriction.
If you have a home improvement or appliance question and want to chat with an expert now, visit justanswer.com/YTHI.